Ooh, welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Pressman. My co-host is Teddy Covers, and we got lots to talk about today. Ski Prophet joining us right off the bat. He's going to take apart the Dallas Clippers game and break down the Pacers and Bucks. Then we have Scott Rickenbach. He's joining us, first time on the show. Brand new edition that we're excited to have at WagerTalk.com. And he's going to look at the Phillies and Cincinnati and the New York Rangers and Capitals. And then we might have a Dave Sharapan sighting. Fingers crossed. Teddy, how are you, my brother?
I've had better mornings, Lawrence. How about yourself?
Dude, we're in the same boat. Like, you and I made a ton of sales with the NBA NHL combo, and we've shot what is it? Crapped all over the place. Yeah, yep. I'm 1-4 to start in NHL, but I'm not worried at all. I'm confident. I feel like I'm seeing things right. It's like we're 2 games in, dude. Like literally 2 games in. So
sure,
I'm not going to get fussed about it. Not at all. Real quick shout out to all our listeners. We are 5 subscribers away from 150,000 subscribers. Please be those 5. Take a minute out of your day. Hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Let's get rocking and rolling. It's $2 Tuesday over at Wager Talk. Ski Prophet joining us right now. Let's go, brother. How are you, man?
I'm all right. I can't complain. I live a nice life. I woke up this morning and I get to talk basketball with you gentlemen, so I'm good.
Okay, well, you know what, Ski? I'm jealous, and I'll tell you why. I'd love to, and I say this to people all the time when I'm like, oh, how's life? Well, I woke up this morning. I am jealous of people who have such low standards because they're happy all the time. I want my life to be so full of joy just for waking up, but it's not. I hold myself to a high regard. I want greatness out of me and my children. And you know what? It's a curse, Ski. It's a curse. I wish that just a breath of fresh air gave me the joy that it seems to give you.
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised. I continue to surprise myself. No matter how many times I go out and have a good time. You guys know it's the West Coast. You know it's early. You guys know I like to party. I'm still awake. I'm still here and ready to talk the game. So I'm proud of myself for that.
I'm proud of you too, dude. Even though you definitely look like you woke up 7 minutes ago. Teddy and I were there, bro. We were party beasts in our youth. So we get it. Let's go. Dallas Mavericks playing the Clippers. How do we bet this game?
Well, I'm thinking about betting this game early. Whether it's first quarter or first half is to be determined. But you think about how that last game started. I'll say like this: we've seen it plenty of times in the regular season in the association where the star player is ruled out. Everybody for that team, rises to the occasion, and the other team maybe overlooks them. It looks like that could have been something for the Mavericks. I mean, Kyrie and Luka, they didn't play the last 2 games of the regular season. Maybe they were rusty after 10 days of not playing. But the Dallas Mavericks looked extremely poor to start that game yesterday. They scored, I think, 30 points in the first half. They did not at all look like that team that closed the season. Before those 2 games that Luka and Kyrie sat, they had won 16 out of 18 games. So as the game went on, they started to figure things out. I feel like in the beginning, every time they went in the paint, Zubac was there. And in the second half, when they put Cleveland out there, it was a little bit more space and allowed things to flow better. And they looked a lot better in that second half. I think they rolled that over into this game. I think there's a focus to start the game fast and throw the first punch. So I'm looking at the Mavericks first quarter, it's -0.5. Or first half is also -0.5. I think you get in and get out with this one. The one thing I'll say is I do absolutely expect Luka and Kyrie to play better, especially Luka. He was missing every shot to start the game. The road players, however, we might not get a better game from them. So That's why I choose to play the first quarter, where Luka will play, majority of his minutes. Another way to look in this game could be, I mean, he averages a little bit over 33 points per game, I believe, this season, and he kills the Clippers. Since the past 4 years, Luka averages 35.2 points per game versus them. I would look at Luka's points or go Mavs first quarter, Mavs first half.
So I was at $2 Tuesday last week, Ski, and was able to cash with the LA Lakers. No pressure for your $2 Tuesday selection for tonight. So again, you can get that play right now at WagerTalk.com. Only $2. And one last week. It's certainly live today. Your play is you call it presidentially approved. Your play is Teddily approved.
Teddily
tonight.
Teddily.
But I want to ask you about Kawhi, because obviously Kawhi is the biggest X factor there is, and the markets are hinting that he's going to play tonight. We've seen the money trickling in on the Clippers, and I think if Kawhi plays, the Clips go off as favorites here. If he doesn't play, do you think the money's going to swing back the other way? Is this one of those scenarios where you want to bet this now, Dallas minus a half first quarter, Dallas minus a half first half? Or do we wait until later in the day until Kawhi's status is more, we know if he's playing or not, and then maybe we get a better number? Or should we lock in here? Talk about Kawhi and when we want to bet this.
Kawhi will absolutely move the needle, whether he plays or not, one way or the other. He's missed now 9 games in a row. So honestly, I don't think him coming back is much of a plus. First game back after missing that much time, I think he'll be rusty. He probably will be on a minutes restriction. And the Clippers have figured out a way to play without him. And it might disrupt that rhythm that they have going. So I don't really mind whether Kawhi plays or not. As far as getting the best of the number, it's hard for me to see that first quarter, first half going past 1. So I'm not really worried. I mean, if you're a person who thinks, I don't want to be involved if Kawhi is in, then go ahead and wait. For myself, I'll be fine getting involved now or later.
Ski Profits, everyone. The $2 Tuesday handicapper. He is a very rare 5% bet going up tonight. And Ski has been rocking and rolling in the NBA. He's gained 135 units in last year in the playoffs. You gained 135 units.
Yeah,
Ski?
remember his run?
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that run he was on last year, dude?
Yeah.
He wasn't on a run. He was on I don't even know what it was last year. That was as epic a hot streak as we ever see.
But you know how good it is. You know how good it is when I read it and then I stop and I'm like,
was it a mistake?
What? How is that even possible? 48-14 run in your last 62 NBA bets, 3% or higher. No wonder you're the $2 Tuesday handicapper, dude. Wow. Yeah. And by the way, Ski, pressure is a privilege. 5% play over at WagerTalk, $2. Go grab it, everybody. Ski, let's talk Indiana Pacers and Milwaukee Bucks. And man, the Bucks were impressive in game 1. Damian Lillard played outstanding ball. Do we see that continue or a bounce back from Indiana?
I think it could be a little bit of both. When I look at that game, I think the Pacers, they're really young. They're inexperienced. I don't think they're ready for that first playoff game versus Milwaukee, whereas Milwaukee has a lot of guys who've been there before. They looked extremely ready. And without Giannis on the court for the Pacers, that just means it's more space for Lillard to operate. And we saw him take advantage similar to how he played in Portland. So I think there's still a lot of talent for that Milwaukee side. The Pacers, we know, are not a great defensive team, but I can't expect them to play that poor offensively again. I'm looking here. They shot 21% from 3, 8 for 38. So I think we get a much better offensive performance from them. We know the Bucks' perimeter defense is not great. I'm in disagreement with this total. I've seen it come down 3 points from 226.5 to 223. Indiana wants to play with pace. I believe the Bucks will be comfortable playing with pace as well. And I just believe we get a much better offensive performance. So lean over here. The side is really tough for me. I do not trust Glenn Rivers. I do not trust the Bucks long term. But it's always hard for me to put my money on a team in the playoffs who I can't trust to get stops. So my recommendation for this game is over 223.5.
So we saw the Pacers in game one have, I think it was their single worst shooting performance of the season. I got to give Milwaukee some credit for that. I mean, their defense was spot on. And one of the things that we saw in the post-Adrian Griffin era was Milwaukee playing a little bit better on the defensive end. Now, that wasn't necessarily the case down the stretch, but for an extended period of time, once Doc Rivers took over for Milwaukee, that team was cashing unders. With the Pacers struggling offensively in game one, is that the type of thing that you think is situational? They were, the lights were a little bit bright for them? Or is that the type of thing that you think is fundamental? Milwaukee's got their number on the defensive end.
Milwaukee definitely does not have their number. I mean, the Pacers were beating up on the Bucks, I feel like, all season long. And I believe it is situational. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams start the playoffs pretty poor. The Magic, lights were too bright. So I do think that's what it was for this Pacers team. Hallie acknowledged how poor his performance was. And he knows that he's a big part of this team's success if they're going to have any. And he, said he'll have a much better game tonight. So I think the nerves will be gone. This team knows they can beat the Bucks already. I think we'll see a much better shooting performance, much better performance overall from this Pacers team.
Ski Prophet, man, you killed it. And guys, you think Ski is good? Imagine when he's awake. Okay.
I
Dude,
appreciate you guys. And
we love having you on, man. A killer segment. I hope you look. If you could have a run like last year, please, for all of us, that would be incredible. Kick ass on your 5% play tonight. It is Tedley approved. Don't know what that means, but it was a good attempt. And thanks for joining us, brother. We still got lots more on the show. Scott Rickenbach making his inaugural debut coming up. Dave Sharapan. It's a maybe. Always is, but we'll take what we can get. Teddy's big game breakdown of my penalty box segment. But Teddy, before we get into that, and before we get into what did bettors learn, Fortunaut, one of our absolute best listeners here every day, he writes, "Hey, Prez, I am so pumped for you to see those Dead & Co. shows at the Sphere. You have no idea how amazing that experience is going to be. The place is absolutely nuts, and the sound is absurd." So, I mentioned this last week. I'm taking Teddy to the Dead & Co. show on Friday, February 17th. Now, Teddy, full disclosure, Friday, May 17th. Full disclosure, bro. It was a shit show getting those tickets. And we have a great sight line to the stage, but we will not see the roof. There's nothing I can do about it. We got the seats that have the cover. We see almost everything, but not directly above us. So if you want to back out, I understand. But there's nothing I could do. We got in line. We got what we got. And frankly, I don't give a shit about the roof. I'm there to hear the music, and we'll still see the graphics and visuals behind the stage. But it is what it is, dude. I'd rather you just yell at me now than show up then with your curmudgeon negativity. So can you get the negativity out now so you and I can get really high and have a great night?
You bought me tickets to the Dead show, dude. I promise. I'm not going to complain.
Okay. Dan Alexander writes, "You'll be high anyways. Who cares about the roof?" Dan, you have no idea. We are going to redefine the definition of high. Ski Profits will be jealous of how high we will be. Well, I will be. I'll be a mess, dude. Like, honest to God, I will take high to the highest limits. I'm free falling from the moon. Anyway, let's get into it. What did bettors learn?
Sure, that was a nice 3 minutes of wasted time. Well done,
yeah.
Lawrence.
That's how I roll, baby. That's how I roll.
Yeah. And especially the show's in like a month and I haven't even thought about it yet. That being said, let's talk about what happened last night. And I got to say this. I was a fan last night. There was legitimately exciting playoff action. The Knicks Sixers, that was thrilling playoff basketball. Isaiah Hartenstein becoming a playoff star, and New York, the offensive rebound, the huge block, and the Knicks became only the fourth team in the last 28 years to rally from 5 points behind or more to win in the last 30 seconds of regulation. Of course, one of those was when the Miami Heat beat San Antonio in Game 6, 2013, the Ray Allen game. I remember that. The other three I didn't remember, for what it was worth. And the Nuggets Lakers might have even been better. That was really, if you want high-level basketball, the last few minutes of that game was amazing. Both ends of the court, teams creating great possessions, and then Jamal Murray hit the game winner over Anthony Davis. I mean, it really was exciting. Then I put hockey on the other TV. I watched the last 5 minutes of Vegas-Dallas. Maybe I think it was the last 8 minutes. That was every bit as heart-pumping and thrilling. Meaningful playoff basketball, meaningful playoff hockey. I guess there still is a little bit of fan left in me. Those were fun, exciting games. We got this for the next 2 months. It should be a whole lot of fun. That being said, I was a complete idiot last night. Short list yesterday in the NBA. Philly plus the points, LA plus the points, Magic Cavs over. Guess which one I used for the clients? And it was dead about 2 minutes in. I'm like, what the frick am I betting these two teams? I got down to the situation. Cleveland's not an over team. Orlando's not an over team. Somehow I got turned around. Oh, yeah, this game's going to go over. Unless the Cavs are raining threes, they're not raining over. They did it for a while, not in the second half. It was a stupid bet. It was a stupid night. I enjoyed the playoffs, and I'll try to do better tonight for the clients. Hopefully not pick the wrong one, and a stupid one at that. Again, new day today. That's the beauty of what we do. Lawrence, let's see if we can get it going. Back to you, my friend.
Teddy, I had the over in that very same game, bro. So, yeah.
Which very same game?
The Orlando-Cleveland game.
Oh, yeah. It was not good. No. It was it was wrong. It was a stupid bet. I shouldn't have made it. And I got to be smarter.
Yeah. I'm with you there, brother. But, dude, enough, man. Like, honestly, we're like 2 days in, 3 days in.
I know.
Move the hell on, dude.
The pressure, man. The pressure's on.
I know. And especially considering we have that combo pack. Look, I got 2 NHL plays tonight. I'm winning them both. We're going to get this all back. It's all good, bro. All good. Crazy endings in the NBA last night. Was super fun to watch. So listen, I'm Jewish. I tell everybody I'm proud. I have a Star David right there. I had Passover dinner last night. Started at 7:00. My dad's 80 years old. He's running out of Passover dinners. These Passover dinners are important to him. So I watched the Leaf game throughout dinner on my phone, directly in front of my seat. Nobody was amused. Nobody. But I couldn't freaking help it, man. I literally gave my dad a choice. I'm like, Dad, your decision. I will watch the Leaf game during Passover Seder or not come. You decide. He never even responded. So I assumed that was a go-ahead. Anyway, crazy game, dude. Crazy game. Okay.
Did you watch
Scott
it with
Rickenbach
volume?
joining us live from Romania, where they love to dance. It's the city of romance. If anyone can tell me what that reference is from, I would be appreciative. It's a song. In Romania, they love to dance. It's the city of romance. Come on. Who knows where that's from? Scott, welcome, dude. Glad to have
you. Thanks so much. Happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Teddy, we're going to get into some actionable info. You set up the first game, and then we're going to talk about Scott and why people should bet him after. I hand you the mic.
All right, Scott, nice to talk to you. It's been, you're a guy I've known for the better part of the last 20 years, but I haven't seen you in about 10 of them. Great to see you on board the Wager Talk team. Let's talk a little MLB for Tuesday. The Phillies and the Reds. Yesterday, Philadelphia, pretty much a dominant showing in that ball game, start to finish, took care of business in a very similar price range what we're seeing today. Sanchez and Abbott, I'm seeing the Phillies anywhere from minus 120 to minus 125. Totals bounced around. You can get 8.5 to the over or 9 juice to the under. What do you want to do with Philadelphia at the Great American Ballpark?
Well, speaking of that, is the line and the line value here. That's the thing, Teddy, looking at this matchup, is just that when you have great pitchers like the Phillies have that are big name guys like Nola and Wheeler, those guys are on the mound. These prices can get pretty outrageous. But right now, this Phillies team is red hot. They've won 7 in a row. And then you have a guy like Bryce Harper, the star of the team, goes on paternity leave, and a guy Clemens comes up from AAA ball and has a huge game last night in his place. This Phillies lineup is just really stacked, and you look for value spots like this where you can get them at a good price. And the thing is, do you guys know the name of the AAA team that the Phillies have in Lehigh Valley?
What's that?
No.
The Iron Pigs. Pretty good nickname. I've always liked that. So anyway, this guy comes up from the Iron Pigs, Clemens. I'm sure you guys know the name Clemens in baseball. So the thing is, huge home run last night. They win 7-0. Phillies have won 7 in a row. Here's the thing with the Reds, though. Abbott is a solid pitcher, but what I like here is the strikeout ratio when you look at these two guys, and the Phillies just have a more potent lineup. And I think that Sanchez, he's been getting a lot of strikeouts. I think the Reds are going to have trouble here. They're just not hitting that well, and these Phillies are red hot with 7 straight wins. And here you get them at a good price on the road, laying 125. It's hard to pass them up in a spot like this.
Ride the streak with Philadelphia, says Scott Rickenbach. Scott, this is your first appearance on Wager Talk Today. You've been in the industry for a while. Give a little bio. How do people, talk about who you are, why you're in Romania, what sports you handicap? Give folks a little bit of info about who Scott Rickenbach is and why he's on WagerTalk.com.
Well, one of the big keys with me, of course, is here. Football, basketball, so many guys look at that college and pro as king, and those are important to me, and I enjoy those sports as well. But with me, I really like the money line sports. I'm huge into the soccer now, being over here in Europe, and I was in Vegas for 5 years. Teddy, I think you and I met a couple times while I was out there. We've known each other for probably close to 20 years now, and I think the Prez also remember you guys from the covers days, and I was on covers for many years. Have been in the industry for 2 decades, and now seemed like the perfect time. Come on board with Wager Talk, and I'm so happy to be here now, and looking forward to dominate over here. And as far as coming to Romania, you come over here one time, you meet somebody, it has a tendency to maybe want to keep you here. And the thing is, I love the life over here. It's a little different pace than what we have back in the U.S. Still go back and forth in Vegas quite often, and back and forth between the U.S. and Romania, but I do love it here, and the time difference helps me a lot with my work, guys. I can get my stuff up early, and I'm waking up here right after those West Coast games are going final, checking all those out, and then ready to go on to the next day. But like I said, I really enjoy the money line sports. That's the things that, guys, some people don't realize is, football and basketball are great. They're so popular. There is value there, but sometimes you can find even better value in some of these niche sports. And I love even Canadian football. We got Canadian football coming up soon. Don't ignore it. There's value there. There's value in these other sports, and take advantage.
Yeah, well, you should have a dinner with Andy Lang and discuss how to make money betting bare knuckle fighting. Yes. Scott Rickenbach joining us, guys, and we do have a promo for Scott. It is Scott 1000. Best deal we'll ever give out for Scott, and it's just because he's joined the family recently. Take $1,000 off of a Your All Access for Scott. That's $1,000 off for a Your All Access. Use the promo code Scott, 2 T's. Scott 1000. And guys, come on, where's my reference from? In Romania, they love to dance. It's the city of romance. It's like, now, anybody under the age of 50, don't even bother. But like, should I tell you where the reference is from, or let people keep, put it up in the comment section or whatnot?
Put it up in the comments. Tell us at the end of the show. I can't wait, Lawrence. It's such one of those songs. It sounds so good. I really wish I would hear it live.
Well, let's do it live in this. Okay. Teddy, we hit 150,000 subscribers. Thank you all.
Thank
Next
you.
stop, 200. Let's go. So, Scott, let's turn our attention to some NHL. And you mentioned you like moneyline sports, but now you've got a puck line bet on the New York Rangers -1.5 plus 100. And Teddily approved skis play. This is presidentially approved. I agree completely. Washington Capitals are a disaster. I don't remember a team with such a bad goal differential making the playoffs, maybe ever. But hey, what do I know? Talk to me. How do we? Why are we betting the Rangers -1.5?
Well, indeed, the Capitals were fortunate. Give them some credit that they snuck in there at the end, but they were pretty cold there at the end of the season. The team I wished it would have got in was the Red Wings. They were playing the better hockey. They had gotten a little bit healthier, and I was pulling for them other than my Flyers. My family's from Pennsylvania, so I love all the Philly teams, but just have to say that truly the Capitals were so fortunate with that bad goal differential. And the problem here in this matchup, here's something I'd be very concerned with if I was a Washington fan. How can you be down 3-1 going to the third period of game one of a important series and you get outshot 15-6 in that period? That rarely ever happens, and it shows the dominating difference between these two teams. The Rangers just come out and say, you know what, we got you, and we're going to show that we got you. You don't have a chance against us. And that sets the tone for the next game. Not only did the Rangers end up winning 4-1, but they told Washington, doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to be able to come back against us. So I think we're going to see another dominating effort here. Don't forget that the Rangers coach was the Capitals coach last year, let go at the end of the year. The last 7 times we've seen that happen, where a coach with his new team is facing the team that just let him go in the postseason in this very next season, that team has won 6 out of 7 times. And I'm sure it's going to happen again here with the Rangers. Now, in terms of the puck line, to be honest with you, Prez, I don't really like the puck line, generally speaking. Usually when I'm involved, it makes you so nervous. Maybe you're up by 2 goals late and then the other team has pulled their goalie. Do you get that third goal and salt it away, or do you give up the goal there late? But in this case, I think the Rangers are going to, again, dominate. Washington has a couple of defensemen that might come back tonight, but they're still iffy. Will they even be 100%? And the thing is, they just don't have the same firepower that they used to. So I would see the Rangers once again dominating. They're just so strong. This is a complete team. And again, the coach has a score to settle. He's going to want to dominate throughout this series. And again, that third period was very concerning for me if I'm a Capitals fan.
So it's the biggest favorite on the board and the lowest total on the board. We're 5.5 juice to the under. When you're talking about a low total in hockey, does that make you concerned when you're laying 1.5 goals?
It does. It really does, Teddy. You have to have some concern there. But I think the reason for the low total here is, why is Washington here with this bad goal differential? Well, they get blown out in a lot of games, but there were other games that their goalie kept them in it. He was the key. They would win those tight, low-scoring games. And so in this case, I think we could see another 4-1 type game. I think it should at least be 3-1. So I get what you're saying there, Teddy, though. It does make you think twice when a total's so low and you're laying the goal, the puck line there. But the thing is here, too, is Shesterkin is so strong for the Rangers in goal that, again, if I was to project this out and had to give you the most likely statistical outcome of different type of score lines, I would say 3-1 or 4-1 is the right score line here. Doesn't mean we don't see 4-2 and maybe it sneaks over, but I would say we're looking at a 3-1, 4-1 type game.
Yeah, Scott, it's funny. That's exactly the scores I predict as well. 3-1, 4-1. 4-1 feels a little better to me, or more right, or righter, or whatever the case may be. And if I'm listening to the show, What?
Yes.
Was
Yes,
4-1 in game one was the final score.
And you know who predicted that exact score? This guy.
Scott
And I think it's going to be
Rickenbach.
and I think it's going to be 4-1 again tonight. I honestly, Scott, would you be surprised if the Capitals won one game in the series?
Slightly, yes. I think they might steal one at home, but I wouldn't bet on it, to be honest with you. I think they're going to have trouble throughout this series. It's a tough matchup for them, and they've lost so much firepower from what they used to have. If you compare this roster to the roster they had 2 years ago, just take a look sometime and you'll see that, wow, Washington has really lost a lot. So again, they came in the back door to get into the postseason, and I don't think that they're going to last long. So sadly for Ovechkin, I mean, that's a guy that I respect tremendously for what he's done throughout his career. So it's a shame that it's happening like this, but
yeah, I don't care about Alex Ovechkin. He can go himself. And I'm totally good if he gets injured and never breaks Gretzky's record. So, yeah, to Alex Ovechkin. Scott Rickenbach, everybody. Dude, we're so lucky to have you join us. It's such a pleasure to have you on the site, WagerTalk.com. It keeps getting bigger and better. We keep adding more talent. Scott is one of those guys. Use the promo code Scott1000, get $1,000 off of his Your All Access. We'd love to have you back on. You did an outstanding job. I rate you 8.7 out of 10. Good work, Scott. Thank you, my brother. We got to move on now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, Scott.
Yes.
Wait,
yes.
Bring Scott back on. Do you want to know where that reference is from?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
So many moons ago, a guy moved into an apartment with two girls, and he had to pretend he was gay. And he had a dinner date one night, and another guy named Mr. Roper shows up and says, "What, Jack? You have a dinner date?" He's like, "No, this is my cousin from Romania. Let's do the Romania dance." And that is where it's from. Three's Company.
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm old enough to remember that for sure. So yeah, now you got me. That's a good one. Good. Very good.
Teddy Covers.
You also said it was a song. You said it was a song, and somehow or other
it is
now
a
it ends
song.
up as a bit in the
blah,
TV
blah,
show.
blah. Go to your big game breakdown. Bugger off.
Big game breakdown time. Let's talk NBA playoff action Tuesday night. This one should be a whole lot of fun. The Dallas Mavericks and the LA Clippers. Right now, look at the Wager Talk Live odds screen. Mostly -1.5 out there. Dallas as road favorites. Total sitting in the 216.5 range for this one. And Ski Prophet was on the show earlier today talking about how he didn't care if Kawhi played or not. I agree 100%. This is not I'm not going to play it if Kawhi's in the lineup, or I'm only going to play it in the lineup. Whether he plays or not, irrelevant to the concept in this ballgame. And of course, if he does play, we're going to see the Clips potentially a little bit out of sync. The guy's missed the last 9 games. If he doesn't play, well, I think Dallas is the better of these two teams, and the markets think that as well. What happened in game one? Look, the Mavs just laid bricks. Well, 2 things happened. One is that the Clips made an adjustment on the offensive end with Zubac, running the offense through Zubac, which Dallas figured out in the second half, but the first half was so ugly it didn't matter. And the second thing that happened in game one was that the Mavs didn't hit any shots. Jason Kidd's. We couldn't throw it in the ocean. We missed layups. We missed free throws, wide open shots. Lowest scoring first half in playoff history of the franchise playoff history. And the Clips have never allowed fewer first half points in any playoff game in their history. It was an outlier performance, not something we expect to see twice in a row. And look, Dallas was absolutely the better of these two teams down the stretch in the regular season. They're now coming off a loss with the back against the wall. That's a bet on spot. The Clippers, look, Zubac dominated Daniel Gafford in game one, and all the offense ran through Zubac, and that was great. If that happens again, and how about PJ Washington had 11 points. No other Dallas player scored more than 6 except for the superstars, and neither of the stars played that well. I think Dallas has a much better game in them than the one we just saw. I think Gafford has a better game in them than the one we just saw. I think the Mavs come out to play with intensity tonight. The Clips, I can say fat and happy, but the Clips with the lead, not a team I trust. There's a reason the Mavs are favored in this game. There's a reason that even down 1-0, this series price still pretty darn close to pick 'em. As close as there is in any team that's trailing 1-0. Mavs are live. Mavs win the game. Take Dallas. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, couple of listener comments. UC Panda writes, because I mentioned that I watched the Leaf game while at a Passover dinner. He writes, Prez, I watched the ponies from any race track and bet them at my sister's house where there is no TV during family functions. But Brasco Betts writes, respect, Prez. I'm going to my girlfriend's Passover dinner tonight, and I will have playoff basketball streaming under the table. Yeah, I appreciate you respecting me, Brasco, but I don't respect you because you aren't doing it in front of them. You're doing it under the table. You're hiding it.
Different scenario.
Wear it, man. Do it right there. Put the TV right in front of your face at the dinner table and own it, baby.
This is so you did it with your family and your dad.
I know.
He's doing it with his girlfriend's family. Can't you don't get that leeway, bro. It just doesn't happen.
I know. I'm with you, Teddy. I was just making a joke, but Brasco, I hope you don't get caught. And I hope you've been dating her for a long time, to say the least. Dave Sharapan joining us. David Sharapan, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Great to see you both. Heard your reference earlier. Did a little research real quick for you. Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's company
too.
All right.
Yeah, you remember?
There we go.
What about Gummy? Do you remember Gummy?
This is too much. Like, people don't. We're old. They don't have a clue what you're talking
on the hat
about. None of this.
There?
They don't have. This is the Phillies. The City Connect Phillies hat. I got the Phillies stuff on. It's all about the Phillies today.
You like the Phillies tonight? We've already discussed that game.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Great graphic. Good work, Daniel. Yeah, Phillies. Cheap price. There you go. Done.
Deep thoughts from Dave Sharapan. Teddy, you handle this segment.
I would love to. Dave, let's talk a little NBA playoff basketball. What are you seeing and hearing around town? Very nice to see you, my friend. When it comes to wise guy support / public teams, what stands out in the playoffs so far? And are there any themes for the first 3 days of NBA postseason action?
Yeah, bet the favorites. Pretty easy. It was pretty much bet the home teams and bet the favorites until last night. Then the favorites didn't cover, but favorites on the money line have been pretty much undefeated. I think it is. So yeah, everybody's like over the weekend. They're like, can a dog win a game? Yeah, can a dog just win a game? That was it, right? The Clips won Sunday. So that's it. I mean, have you seen the totals? You can't make the totals low enough. That's the other thing. It's like under first half, under game. So that's the only ones that, they're crying about. All my buddies are on vacation this week because of the draft. No one wants it. Everybody takes off this week. All my guys that work in the books, they've had enough. So I haven't talked to anybody yet this week because they're either down in Florida, one guy's down in Cabo, and then the other guys are just kind of sitting and waiting for this draft to be over Thursday.
So is this typical of NBA postseason? You've been doing this a long time. You've seen a lot of NBA playoffs. Is there something that's typical for NBA playoffs? Is there something that's atypical? Or is this well within the expected range of where things might fall?
First round NBA is typical. Usually it's pretty chalky, where the series are shorter And, the 4-5s are the best series. And I think Dallas, the big game breakdown, you nailed it. That series is the series in the West. And I think we're going to see it a little bit in the 2-7 with the Knicks and the Sixers. I think the Sixers gave one away last night, but I think that series is an extended series. The other series are short series. So typically that's what it is. The NBA gets better as it goes. The hockey playoffs start good, stay good, and just get less betting opportunities. But the hockey's so different from the basketball in that in the hockey, pretty much any team can beat any team except the Capitals. They can't beat the Rangers. They're not going to beat the Rangers. I don't care how many times they play that series.
Dave, it's also because you have that goaltender factor, right? Where you don't have that in basketball. A goalie stands on his head, he stands on his head. And that just, in basketball, you go through ups and downs on shooting percentage. And yeah, there are definitely upsets, but on a whole, the best teams normally do win in basketball. And hockey, you get a hot goalie and they could take you all the way.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now, Teddy.
So you mentioned the NFL draft.
Yes.
Is that something that, and basically every bookmaker I talk to about the NFL draft, they're terrified of it. Not terrified of it, but they get beat. It's like a loss leader with the better bets that people make. Are you getting that same impression, or have things changed in the NFL draft betting marketplace?
It was the last time I did it was 3 years ago, and we went into it with just break even. And that's the only thing in my life I've ever been told or talked about that said, let's just go into this to break even. You never do that. So, yeah, the draft, as far as the bookmaking end of it, it stinks. It's not fun. It's you sit there and you read and you read and you read and you read. You don't know who's lying, who's not. And then all of a sudden a limit play comes across for, number of offensive tackles under that you have up, because you read that it's going to be 3 and you have 2.5, over minus a quarter, and they bet you under 2.5. And you're like, well, we're dead. That's it. We can't move it. We just move the juice. The first bet comes, the second bet comes, the third bet comes, Teddy. There's no bet on the other side. More often than not, that bet was right the first one. So that's the catch. With a game, you get the game to play out. And like Prez just said, in hockey, you get a hot goalie. You got a shot. You have an off-shooting night in basketball. Okay, you have a pitcher in baseball, pitched lights out for the other team. Or, a lineup not hit. In football, you have 2 fumbles and a pick or something crazy happen. In the draft, you have the commissioner go up and announce the name. And more often than not, it's the name that everybody bet. It's the worst. I don't miss that. I miss a lot of things about being in the book. I don't miss draft week. It's brutal.
We're talking with Dave Sharapan, veteran odds maker here, both in Las Vegas and in the global book community. Dave is a great follow on Twitter at SportsBKConsig, the Sportsbook Consigliere. He does a bunch of shows. We'll let him promo them in just a few moments. But while we've got you, Dave, just a few minutes left, you talked and mentioned a little bit about MLB. And so I basically have 2 baseball questions. The first one is, why won't the markets price Baltimore like they're a good team? And the second is, what the hell are the markets going to do with the Chicago White Sox? Answer those 2 questions for me.
I cannot figure out the Baltimore thing, but as a bettor, that's great because they should be favored by a lot more when they're especially on the road. Like you said it last time I was on here with you. The road team favorite is shorter priced when they're a good team. It's like the odds makers wake up in May or June and go, hey, this team's in first place. We probably should have a minus 150 instead of minus 115 when they're on the road. Oh, okay. Either that or the markets don't catch up. Now, the White Sox is a whole nother case study. The White Sox are going to be historically bad. They've been shut out, I think, 8 times already this season. Betting against the White Sox has been extremely profitable. I don't know at what point you're going to start seeing average to below average teams being $2 favorites against the White Sox at home. But what do you do as the book? You hope that people don't bet the game. That's what you do. You try to price them out. You just put it where they go, oh, I can't lay that, or I don't even want to use that in a parlay, or I'll use the run line. Oh, the run line's even too high. It's the only thing you can do. And, you root for the White Sox to win 3 times a week. Because there's a book, if you get them to win 3 games in a week at the prices, you actually can come out a little bit ahead. But
that's a big ask, Dave.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
Yeah, they won 3 games all year.
Yeah, dude. Like, in all seriousness, I say they win 3 games in a week 3 times this season. Over and under.
I'll take the over.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I would say 6 times probably, right? I mean, there's 20 weeks left in a season, so it'll probably happen 6 times. September will be 2
I'll go under 6. I'm comfortable with an under 6 on that.
I'm
anyway,
going over
Dave,
3, man. I don't know where their 6 number came from. You offered 3.
Dave,
Dave
is the better line maker than me. I went with 3. He adjusted the line to 6. We had some huge smart money come in fast from Teddy covers to the over on 3. Dave made the adjustment to 6. Now we're going to go with a middle.
That wasn't no. He made a bet off your bad number at 3. He didn't move the number to 6.
Yeah,
you bet your own number 3 and said I think 4.5.
The number would have moved. If we used the opener of 3, we would have gotten the 4.5.
What do you have to?
Are the Maple Leafs going to win this series, Prez? That's all I need to know from you. I mean, I know you're
Dave,
excited.
Look, I'm a total homer
Is it a
here.
Passover miracle?
I'm a homer, so it's tough because I want them to win so badly. I honestly, Dave, I'll tell you this: if Nylander comes back, they win the series. He's a game changer. He's one of the best hockey players in the league. He has the ability to move the puck up the ice better than Austin Matthews and Marner. He also balances the lines. We need McMahon as well, but if Nylander comes back, they win the series, and I think they might win it in 6.
Everything that could have gone bad for them did, right? They get a goal disallowed.
2 goals.
They give up a lead, right? They give up. Then they answer back, and they take the lead and protect it all the way. They get a penalty at the end of the game that was
Stupid
absurd.
penalty.
How that referee called that penalty? I couldn't
No, that
believe it.
was a slashing call. Bertuzzi was a moron.
It was a dumb penalty, but like at the end of games, you can commit a felony. You never get that called against you. And they still withstand and win the game. In years past, they lose that game.
Yeah.
This might be the year.
Samsonov was
they
incredible.
might get by. It was awesome. I hope you find the Offie Coleman tonight. I really do. I mean, I know the kid's big. That's a big deal. Oh,
Sharapan.
if you find the Offie Coleman, that's a big deal.
Oh, yes. Okay, love having you on. What do you got to promote?
Sports Grid Sirius XM every day, except this week on Thursday and Friday. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. My show, Bostonian versus the Book, and cash considerations every single day or every single week. Bostonian versus the Book every day, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern. That's it. I'm out. Go Maple Leafs.
Yeah, baby. Okay, guys, it's time for the penalty box segment. Let's get to it. Welcome to the penalty box segment, everyone. I'm Lawrence Presman, and I've got 3 NHL bets to give out to you. Let's start right off the bat with the New York Rangers hosting the Washington Capitals. You should see Teddy. Give me a quick clip of Teddy right now. Quick. Oh, no, he moved. You should see Teddy while I was doing the penalty box segment. Yeah, that's what he was doing. Oh, God, I got to listen to this shit. Teddy, if you bet all my plays in the penalty box segment or the presidential address all year, you would be taking me to the dead show. Rangers minus 1.5 against Washington. Yeah, I know, but you'd be very rich. Rangers minus 1.5 against Washington. Look, this Washington team is not a playoff team, period. They snuck into the playoffs because the Detroit Red Wings couldn't take care of business. They have one of the worst goal differentials that has ever made the playoffs. And the Rangers are hungry. This is a Rangers team that really should have made big runs the last 2-3 years. They are stacked and loaded with talent. I think Washington struggles to score. I think we see a 3-1, 4-1 hockey game take the New York Rangers -1.5. Before we get to the next two games, I want to make mention that I have a very rare bet tonight. 90% of my bets are 2% plays. I have a 4% in NBA tonight, and I'm on an 8-0 run in these 4% plays. I maybe have 2 4% plays all week. That's how rare these bets are. You guys all jump like crazy when we have 5% plays. My 4% plays are just as rare, and I'm on an 8-0 run. So grab that 4% NBA bet. I also have 2 NHL bets and 2 baseball bets, and I went 3-0 last night in baseball. Let's move our attention to the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. I like the over 5.5 in this game. I bet it last game. I was wrong 3-2. But I think ultimately Tampa Bay is playing for their playoff lives tonight, and their identity is a team that scores goals. And I think they get 3 goals tonight. I like over the team total in Tampa Bay as well. And I think Florida is going to score 2. I think Tampa Bay has a bad defense, and Vasilevsky is not the same as he once used to be. Take over the total. As for the Canucks and the Nashville Predators, I like over the total in this game too. They went over the total last game. There were 43 shots combined. That is terrible. I think we see a much higher shot percentage game tonight. I think we get the shots well into the 50s, and I like over the total. That's it for the penalty box segment, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Teddy, take us home.
Enjoy the games. Best of luck with your wagers. We'll be back with another edition of Wager Talk Today in 23 hours and 7 minutes. Between now and then, enjoy the games and best of luck.